Now, plastic waste is a proliferating and increasingly overwhelming problem in and around the world. It is predicted as much as 710 million tons of solid plastic waste will clog up the Earth's ecosystem, inlands, oceans, and rivers by 2040.
How old would you be in 2040?
I'll be old.
So meanwhile, in Indonesia, 20% of its plastic waste is believed to end up in rivers and also coastal waters. And tragically, Indonesia's rivers rank up among the most polluted globally.
There are a myriad of organizations working hard to reduce the plastic waste, and one of them is Classroom of Hope, which is dedicated to using sustainable blocks from recycled waste to rebuild schools and homes. Not only that, they also want to help schools that already destroyed due to the 2018 Lombok earthquakes, as they temporarily stopped the education of 4,000 students.
I know, that was so devastating. And so, to find out more about their social projects, we are now connected with Classroom of Hope co-founder Nicola Courtin. Good morning, Nicola. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for inviting me to be here.
Of course, we are delighted to have you here. But you're currently in Lombok, right?
I am, yes.
So,
yes.
Nicola,
we have a lot of work to do here.
Exactly. We'll talk more about that later. But first of all, what is actually the story behind the Classroom of Hope? What are actually the goals?
So the story behind Classroom of Hope is that we started in 2012. It was founded by my husband, Duncan Ward, after he had gone to Cambodia on a trip. And he'd seen, a real need for education in the country, particularly in rural areas. So that's how it all sort of started. And I joined him in building the organization in 2013. And really from the early days, our purpose has been to provide access to quality education to children living in developing countries. And we've always done this by partnering with local NGOs who implement our education programs. So in the beginning, in the early days, we had child-friendly schools program and scholarship programs. These were programs that would take existing schools and take them on a 3-year journey to make them what UNICEF calls child-friendly. Our scholarships program would ensure that children had everything that they needed to get to school. And then over the years, as the organization grew, we started to build schools as well. And we would build schools with water facilities and clean toilets. So we've built in Cambodia, Myanmar, Laos, and Rwanda. And now, of course, our focus is on our Block Schools program. And this is our program in Lombok, Indonesia, where we're building block schools made from recycled plastic waste.
Well, that's like a lot or a big shoe to fill.
Right. So you shifted from just providing the education, and then now it's building the schools. Now we know we heard that the blocks are made from plastic. How reliable are plastic compared to all the blocks that we've been using to build homes or schools?
Yeah, it's a very reliable product, and there's so many reasons that we're building with this product. It's a highly durable product. So they're actually stronger, 3 times stronger than cinder bricks. But, they're actually, when you build with the product, they're so lightweight that building with the product is 10 times lighter than building with, say, concrete or bricks or mortar. So there's so many reasons that we have chosen to use this product. A few more would be that they're earthquake resistant, which is crucial for us given that we're trying to rebuild, these schools from after the 2018 earthquakes. They last over 100 years. Of course, we're cleaning up plastic waste from the environment, reducing our carbon footprint. And it's incredibly easy to use. It's like building with adult Lego. And it's also very efficient. It really is. I promise. I've had the opportunity to build with it myself.
You picked a good analogy first to understand the whole idea behind it.
When they mentioned it was made from plastic, that was my first thought. It sounds like Lego. You can just put it together and just build it. And then, you play with Lego.
I do.
And it's...
I still do. For a record, I still do. But so that's how we actually picture it in our mind, and you actually made it a reality. But there are actually two, how would you call it, two objectives here. You also, you provide the education, and also now you are building schools, which are actually two different big aspects. And how do you actually navigate this to be able to run simultaneously?
So we actually don't provide the education ourselves.
see.
We are providing the structures. So the government, local communities are responsible for providing the education.
I see.
We're providing the structures of the schools.
I see, I stand corrected then.
Now, but in 2012, you guys, as you mentioned earlier, that you guys already helped all the way from Cambodia, Laos, and like throughout
Rwanda.
even Rwanda. So and then now move to Indonesia with the new. I'm guessing this is a new plan with the blocks, with the school blocks. Like, why the change?
Well, I guess it all really kicked off because of our response to the 2018 earthquakes. My family and I were living in Indonesia at the time.
Yeah.
So we were in Bali. We weren't in Lombok, but we'd heard about the devastation. We'd heard that over 400 schools had been destroyed, and as an education charity, we felt really compelled to help. And also because we love Indonesia, we wanted to be able to contribute. So it actually started with temporary pop-up schools that we built. These were great because they were really quick to assemble, and it got kids back into learning. But we realized that children that learn in temporary structures learn half as much as children who learn in permanent structures.
True.
So we were really looking for a permanent solution. And in looking for a permanent solution that was safe, that was earthquake resistant, we came across this technology. And so the focus isn't, we are still focused on education in the sense that we're still building schools and we're still trying to provide children with a safe learning environment where they can get access to education. And that part of our focus will remain. I feel that perhaps our focus has expanded to now include, the planet, to include thinking about things like plastic and the climate crisis. And this technology really gives us an opportunity to do that. We didn't realize in the past when we were building with bricks and mortar that the construction industry actually accounts for 39% of global carbon emissions. And so we're just as an organization learning about these things and trying to make a difference in the way that we do things so that we can do good for the planet while focusing on our education mission at the same time.
Now, Nicola, we're looking at the time lapse of the building of the school. How long does it take to actually build one building? Or
because we can't really believe our eyes at the moment,
right.
Seeing the video. Like 6 days.
Is that 6 days? 6
Really?
days
Is
to
it
all
only
completed?
6 days?
It's so fast. It really, really is. Actually, as we're speaking right now, our local NGO partner, Classroom of Hope Indonesia, and their team of contractors are building 5 schools. So these 5 schools construction started last week, and already some of these schools have their tiling complete, the walls are done, the roofs are finished, and all 5 schools are going to be completely finished.
Oh, wow.
Okay, we are still trying to get reconnected with Nicola at the moment. But Indra, can you believe that? I mean, we were getting the information about they built these schools from the blocks of plastic waste, like Legos and stuff like that, and it could be done in 6 days. But also, what I want to know is what support has been given by the local government in this case.
Right. Because it's not, again, like back to your question earlier, it's not all about the buildings. We also need to make sure that the education, the actual curriculum, the teachers and all that kind of stuff needs to be in place, so to help all these kids not only have the place to study, but they actually have the actual thing to go on to study on.
And I also agree what Nicola said about the children in the temporary school buildings learning as much as the children in a permanent brick and mortar building kind of stuff. But in this case, Indonesia is a big country with lots of untouched areas and stuff like that. And one of the main challenges is to reach those areas with a proper school and build an infrastructure for them to be able to study in and to go to school to and stuff like that.
Right, but and then if you look at the time lapse, like how fast they're doing this, you can actually move this not only for schools, but like even looking at that, they probably can expand it to become for medical purposes, like for hospitals or something like that.
That is not impossible. That is not really impossible for them to be able to make the other use of kind of building method and stuff like that. So we got reconnected with Nicola. So Nicola, thank you so much to join us back. It's all right. It's all right. So Nicola, 6 days to be able to do that, and now that you are saying some of the buildings are in the stage of putting tiles and stuff like that. But what we're curious about is, how did you get the fund?
How did we get
the funding? What method of raising funds that you've been doing to support this noble cause?
Our funds come in from various sources. So we have family foundations that support our schools. We have philanthropists and organizations. Recently, the Australian government, DFAT, has come on board to support a block school. So funding comes in from all sorts of different and wonderful places and wonderful people who support what we're doing.
Nice. Now, you mentioned earlier, at the moment, you guys are building five schools. Now, how many buildings have you built so far? I mean, in a week you're there.
Or so far, and yet you are planning.
Right?
Okay, so we'll start with so far. Up until this week, we've done 6, but with the 5 that are being built right now by our local partner, it'll be at 11. So that will, and 4 homes as well we've done. So with the 11 schools, we'll be serving about 16 to 1,700 students. And if you look at the impact outside of, just the schools themselves, every classroom that we build removes 1 to 2 tons of plastic waste from the environment. So with these 11 schools, we'll have built 32 classrooms. So that's over 45 tons of plastic waste removed. Wow. So this is one of the really great things about building with this. In the past, we could look at, well, how many schools have we built? How many students are we impacting? But now we can look at things like, well, how much plastic waste are we removing from the environment, and how much are we reducing our carbon emissions? And then for our plan moving forward for building, we've got a big goal. We're launching our program to build 200 schools in Lombok.
Wow.
Our local NGO partner, thank you, Classroom of Hope Indonesia is implementing this program, and they will construct 600 classrooms and 600 toilets. We're building toilets at the schools as well. So this program will impact 21,000 students and remove 888 tons of plastic waste from the environment, and also reduce our carbon footprint by just under moving even further in the future, we're also looking at developing our block homes project, and this will build 4,000 homes on Lombok. This project we hope to launch later in the year after the Block Solutions Indonesia factory is producing blocks.
That was actually my question.
Right.
That was my question. Like, how did you produce
the blocks
from the plastic waste? And that was the answer.
Yeah, well, I have more questions.
Please do, Indra.
Can you ship it to Jakarta and then?
By all means.
Right. I don't know about the
they're
cost.
actually already being produced in Jakarta.
Oh, really?
Yes. So Classroom of Hope, obviously, we are not the producers of these blocks. The blocks are produced by a company called Block Solutions, and they're based in Finland. So we partnered with them to build these schools. And for the first 6 schools that we did, we imported the blocks. And we did this to prove the concept of building with this technology here. We also wanted to see how the the community would respond, how the government would respond, and we had a very successful response. Now blocks are actually being produced in a factory in Jakarta, and this factory is using Indonesia's recycled waste. So the 5 schools that we're building right now are actually the first 5 in the world are being built with Indonesia's recycled plastic, which is really exciting. Now, in terms of the block solution factory that I've just mentioned, this is the one that's being built in Lombok now. This is due for completion in the middle of this year and be the first of its brand new factory in the world outside of Finland. And of course, this also produced with Indonesia's plastic.
I see.
Great.
So, Nicola, from what you've been elaborating to us, it seems like it's a big help for Indonesia at the moment. But on that note as well, we want to know how much is the response from the local government or the central government in this case, because you're based on your goal, you want to build like 4,000 homes and to accommodate more students in the schools and building toilets at the moment. But also in this case, if you are building in a local community, you also empower the local people over there. So it is only right if the government also showing some supports. But how is it so far, the response also the support from the local government?
We have a very strong partnership and relationship with the government of Lombok. It's been incredibly supportive, very excited about this technology, and we work very closely with them in our projects, as well as our local partner as well, Classroom of Hope Indonesia, also work very closely with us and with the local government. So it's very collaborative.
I see. Wow, that is quite heartwarming to know that it is being done in one area in Indonesia, and I hope that will be much more, and many more areas would do the same. Right? So, Indra, more questions for you, because I can see from your face like you have like tons of questions.
I do, but I just want to go to Lombok and actually see it for myself. Thank you so much, Nicola, for being on the show. It's great what you're doing, and I hope you continue doing great things in the country. And as we can see, you already done it so many in Southeast Asia, like Laos and all the other places. Thank you so much.
Yes, Nicola, also please send our regards to friends and family there in Lombok. And also, please stay safe, and we will wait for more innovations and also more good news from you and your friends over there.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak about our organization and our project.
Thank you so much.
You.
Goodbye.
Bye.
All right. That was actually quite a breakthrough.
Right. I mean, it's not only the building, but the fact that you use something that you recycle. Like you take plastic away and then make to build something again.
But it's actually the empowerment of the local communities that got me. Because in this case, we have like lots of resources in Indonesia at the moment, but it is after the pandemic even. We saw like lots of workforce being wasted because of less of businesses getting back again after the pandemic. So it was quite life-changing for people there.
And do you know with the ASEAN summits coming up and Indonesia as a presidency this year, one of the goals actually is recovery, and then this is show how recovery progress in Lombok area.
We're on the right track.
Right.